Do you know that by 2050, 1 in every 5 Indians is going to be above 60? Mental health of our elder population, senior citizens, grandparents, is a big concern. People usually think that if they have problems, it is a part of growing old, but that may not be true. In fact, the generation of our elders themselves are used to normalizing some mental health issues. They do not get diagnosed and hence do not get treated either. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what are the main reasons that mental health of senior citizens or our elders, grandparents is suffering and what can we do about it. Here are the 6 main reasons why today we are seeing the mental health of elders taking a toll. One is families are getting smaller. Because of migrations, increasingly young people are going out to look for work, settling abroad, or even not in their own cities. And hence, elders or senior citizens are finding themselves living alone more than ever before. Second is that social behaviors are changing. Earlier, people used to come to each other's places informally. There used to be visitors. Nobody would call and come. Functions, family functions or, traditions would be celebrated as a big group. But today, people are not meeting so often. People are not, coming uncalled for. They don't just show up at your homes. They take appointment and come. There is more formal, scheduled, curated meetings. And this has made the elderly people feel more and more lonely because there are no informal gatherings like they used to happen earlier. The third reason is unsolved or unresolved family dynamics. If these elders, senior citizens have had a strained relationship with their child because they have done wrong parenting, and if their children do not feel close to them, then the relationship remains transactional. So these are the older people whose physical, material needs are taken care of, but they feel emotionally disconnected from the children. The children do not want to spend time with them or connect to them frequently. And the relationship only remains transactional where their material, physical, medical needs are taken care of. This also brings about a lot of loneliness. The fourth reason is that increasingly the world is changing at a very rapid pace. So our older grandparents are unable to relate to their children or grandchildren, especially if those children and grandchildren have got exposure to the world outside, they've lived abroad. Even in terms of technology, in terms of culture, in terms of clothes, food, there is a huge disconnect. And so they are unable to have conversations with their grandchildren. They are unable to connect with them on anything similar because there are hardly any similarities, whether it is food, whether it is tradition, whether it is clothes, or even discussing books, because the world has changed very rapidly and increasingly grandparents or old elders feel that they have got left behind. Same with technology also, that they are unable to relate to all the technology that is changing so rapidly. Fifth is health challenges. As, of course, we grow older, there are health issues that come up, and we also know that physical and mental health are related. So when there are health challenges, chronic health conditions, diabetes, blood pressure, kidney issues, arthritis, then obviously the quality of life suffers and the mental health also takes a toll. If there are conflicts at home because of the generational gap, because of the lack of connect, and if there is a transactional relationship, even relationships with, daughter-in-laws or son-in-laws or relationship with the own children and grandchildren is filled with conflict. Many times the elderly, folks do not want to change their point of view. They are unwilling to move with their times. They are unwilling to see the other people's perspectives. They could be stubborn, they could be rigid, highly controlling. And as they grow older, they find that this is causing a lot of conflict. Also, the younger generations want space. They want to do things their way. And when the elder folks or family members are unwilling to change their ways, their way of thinking, their way of working, then obviously there is a conflict. And this conflict also builds in a lot of stress for both the young and the old folks. And hence, this is also one of the contributors of mental health challenges amongst our elderly. So here are a few things that the senior citizens or the older populations must do in order to avoid this situation. The first point is build bridges and not walls. So please find the areas of connection with your children and grandchildren or with the younger generation versus constantly saying, oh, we did this way, why are you doing this? Oh, in our generation, this was very good and this is not good. So versus criticizing the younger generation and criticizing their ways and methods, please try to embrace it and please try to find the common points. Second point is embrace technology. Please have the curiosity and the enthusiasm to learn. Whatever your kids or grandkids are using, show curiosity, show enthusiasm to learn it versus putting it down or criticizing it. Whether it is a mobile phone, a tablet, smart TV, or any gadgets. Be a child and learn versus putting it down. Third is communicate respectfully. Maybe in the older generations, respect came out of fear. But in today's times, respect is mutual. So if you talk respectfully to your children and grandchildren, they will talk respectfully to you. Do not assume that just because you are elder, you can talk disrespectfully, you can be rude, you can use bad words, you can be condescending and disrespectful, and others will still respect you, or your children will respect you. They will give it back to you because the generations have changed. Reduce your interference and respect boundaries. I know that as grandparents or as elderly, you feel you know it all, you have the wisdom of the world. You want to make sure that you share your wisdom with your children and grandchildren, but if they do not want it, then please do not give it. Respect their boundaries where they do not want you to advise, where they do not want you to interfere. Please know it and step back. Do not poke your nose in every business of your children or grandchildren. Again, because the times have changed, people want space and they do not want your methods or your wisdom. If they want it, they will ask for it. And only when they ask for it, then give it. Do not unnecessarily try to dictate things in their life or in their relationships or in their work. I know your intentions may be good, but well, not everybody understands that and not everybody likes being nagged and corrected all the time. Stay emotionally and financially independent. Very, very important. As you grow older, you may feel that you have given up your whole life for your children and you will expect that your children will do the same. Well, that may not happen. So please find out ways to become emotionally independent. Yes, you can love your children, you care for them, but keep your expectations low because, again, they may have other priorities. They may be at a phase in life where they are struggling with many other things, career, work, relationships, their own children, etc. They may not have time to be emotionally available. Also, if you have adopted wrong parenting methods and if there is a distance in your relationship with your children, that might also make them emotionally distant. So it is best that you keep yourself emotionally independent and, even more important, financially independent. So plan your finances in a way that when you are in your old age, you do not have to, beg your children for help when it comes to your medical expenses, because that also causes a lot of conflict. It is always good to plan your finances in a way where you can take care of your medical needs, your physical needs. If you want to hire house help, you want to buy some gadget, or there are medical bills, you should be able to pay for it. So try to make sure that you plan it. Also prioritize your physical health. It is important as you grow older, your health will deteriorate, your body will not be able to do what you're able to do earlier, but please do whatever you need to, whether it is walking, whether it is getting an instructor at home, yoga classes, whatever you need to do to make sure that you're physically fit, because physical health is connected to mental health. 7, try to connect to your passion. You may have given up your passion, your hobbies, because you are busy taking care of your business or taking care of your children. But in your old age, it is important to reconnect back to what you have given up. Assuming that you have a hobby. Well, if you don't have a hobby or passion, then develop one. Try to develop interest in whatever. It could be crochet, knitting, dancing, singing, painting, creating something, talking, writing, reading, whatever it is. Try to see that you can find something that makes you feel motivated, passionate, that gives you a reason or a purpose every day to wake up and do something, because that is extremely important at an age when children have their own lives, grandchildren are not interested in you, and maybe your spouse may or may not be around. It is very, very important to have something that gives you a purpose in life. So please look for it. You may not have it from childhood. You can develop it also at an older age. Lower your expectations. Again, do not expect that if you have sacrificed your whole life, your children will do the same. Please keep your expectations low, because when expectations are low, whatever you get will come as a pleasant surprise. You will appreciate what you get. But if your expectations are too high, and if your children and grandchildren are not able to meet it, it will just cause a lot of resentment and sadness. Remember that nobody wants to change. Nobody is going to change because you want them to change. So it is best that you let them be and keep your expectations very, very reasonable. And it is only for your safety and for your mental health that I am suggesting this, not for the sake of the children. If you want to be at peace and stay at peace and calm and be happy, then keeping expectations low from everybody, including your own self, is a best strategy. Point number 9, choose a right living environment. So if you are having a toxic relationship with your son or daughter-in-law or with your own children who are adults, then please do not force yourself to live with them. If financially it is possible, then please find ways where you can live independently so that the relationship doesn't get more toxic. Sometimes because of the fear of society, what will people say? Parents stay together with the children, but on a daily basis, everybody experiences stress. Instead, it is better to live independently, spend on some help, and make sure that you have a little bit neutral relationship with your children. Today, there are facilities for elderly people in India. They will only grow, I'm sure, where you have people of your same age staying alone. There is medical facility, there is a community kitchen. So work on your fear. Do away with the fear of what society will say, but focus on what is the best solution for you to have a harmonious relationship with your children, living with them or living separately. You might even find another house next door to theirs, or another apartment next to theirs, or maybe elderly living facility also okay, because we have seen sometimes that distance makes hearts grow fonder, but too much of familiarity and living together might just make things more toxic. So be open to that. And last but not the least, try to see how you can contribute and volunteer to doing something for the society, because always volunteering at an elder age when is very meaningful. You can volunteer to teach language, to teach something that you're passionate about. You can volunteer to teach something that you're really good at, or just simply helping around, cleaning the streets or doing some public service, because that also gives a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning, and it also releases the good hormones in your body. So of course, volunteering and doing something for the society is also a great way to mentally feel good. So these are the 10 points that you can keep in mind as senior citizens to take care of your mental health. Over and above the 10 points, there are 2 more very important points for our elderly to take care of their mental health. One is, of course, rebuild the broken bonds that you may have with people. So there may be some people in your life with whom you have not spoken for last 20 years, 25 years. There may be some people who may have betrayed you, or you have hurt them, or they have hurt you. In the old age, it is very important to try and rebuild these connections, or at least try and neutralize this connection, so that in your old age, you do not have any sense of regret or guilt. Always remember that rebuilding broken bridges is always a great idea. It makes you feel good when you are older, wiser, and you have a different perspective versus what you had 20 years or 30 years ago. And last point is share and care. Share your experiences with your grandchildren. Share your mistakes with your children and grandchildren. Have open, honest communication, and everything that you have learned in your lifetime, the good, the bad, your experiences, your mistakes, the wisdom that you've got from it, please make sure that you share it with whoever is willing to learn and listen. It could be your grandchildren, their friends, it could be on social media, it could be your community or in your colony. Mentor the young ones who need mentoring. That will give you the biggest satisfaction that you will not get from anywhere else. And as a nation, I think we need to really have more facilities for elderly, need to have more awareness built around the mental health for the elderly folks, because this is going to be an impending problem as our population ages in the coming years. We need to have more senior-friendly facilities, more, housing and care facilities for them, and also more facilities to take care of the mental health of our seniors. As families also, we need to recognize this, approach our seniors with compassion and care, educate them on mental health challenges if they are facing any, and make sure that we make aging for our grandparents and elderly people a positive journey, a happy journey, versus a negative one filled with despair and sadness. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. My article on this is also available in Hindi. The link is shared here. So if you have Hindi speaking, or you have elderly who understand Hindi, make sure you share this article with them as well.